The first bark shattered the silence like a gunshot. Then came another. And another. By the time Emily turned around, the forest clearing was filled with them, tall, lean, alert German shepherds, eyes locked on her like she was prey. 14 of them. She froze, heart pounding. Her fingers tightened around the small bag of dog treats she always carried, more out of habit than preparation. She hadn't meant to wander so far off the hiking trail. She certainly hadn't meant to stumble into what looked like a pack of highly trained working dogs. They weren't snarling. But they weren't wagging their tails either. Then, without warning, the largest of them stepped forward. His ears twitched. His golden eyes bore into hers. And then, he sat. The others followed. Emily blinked. What the hell? Just 24 hours earlier, Emily Hartman had been crying in her car outside the animal shelter where she worked part-time. At 26, her life felt like it was unraveling. A messy breakup, a failed job interview, and an apartment lease ending all in the same week. Her sense of purpose was slipping through her fingers like water. Animals were the only thing that still made sense. At the shelter, she had always connected with the most difficult dogs, the ones too fearful or reactive to be easily adopted. People said she had a gift. Emily didn't believe in gifts. She believed in pain. And she believed that sometimes, broken things recognize each other. That afternoon, her boss had told her something unusual. A retired canine handler named Walter Krieger had passed away, leaving behind a group of aging German shepherds. 14 of them, to be exact. No family. No will. No instructions. Just a dusty file and a gate code to a property in the mountains. Could you drive up and do a welfare check? Her boss had asked. It's probably nothing. Just make sure they have food and water. Animal control's backlogged, and you're the only one with enough dog experience to handle this. So she'd gone. Alone. She hadn't expected the gate to be wide open. She hadn't expected the long dirt road to lead to an abandoned house with shattered windows and overgrown grass. And she certainly hadn't expected the dogs, beautiful, majestic, and eerily silent, as if waiting for something or someone. Now, standing in the middle of them, Emily slowly reached into her bag and pulled out a biscuit. The big one, he had a scar across his snout, took it gently from her hand. His eyes never left hers. Good boy, she whispered. A younger-looking female edged closer, ears forward, tail low. Then another. And soon, all 14 were surrounding her, not in aggression, but in something like curiosity and recognition. They knew her. Somehow, they knew her. The house was falling apart. But in the basement, Emily found something that made her knees go weak, a wall of photos, dog tags, names and records, like a shrine to the 14 German shepherds and their lives of service. Each had been trained by Walter Krieger for military or police work. Each had saved lives. And each had retired here, together, with the only human they trusted. Tears burned Emily's eyes as she ran her fingers over the names. He kept you all together. She found a box of old VHS tapes labeled training logs. She watched one. Then another. Walter was in them, a quiet, stern man with kind eyes. He didn't shout or strike. He trained with patience. Trust. Love. It reminded her of herself. In one tape, he looked directly at the camera. If anything ever happens to me, he said, voice rough with age, don't separate them. These dogs are bonded. They're family. If someone's watching this, and you're good with dogs, please don't let them go back to cages. They've done their part. Let them rest. Emily covered her mouth. She knew what she had to do. Over the next week, she moved into the old house. Cleaned it. Repaired what she could. Slept on the floor when there was no power. And every day, the dog stayed by her side, watching, helping, even guarding her at night when she cried. She learned their names: Max, Bruna, Kilo, Saber, Duke, Nova, Zara, Titan, Scout, Ivy, Rocco, Jet, Echo, and Thor. They responded to German commands, but slowly began trusting her voice. Max, the leader, never left her side. At first, the town thought she was crazy. But word spread about the young woman living with 14 German shepherds, trying to honor a dead man's wish. About the dogs that listened to her like they'd found their new commander. People started helping. Someone fixed the plumbing. A retired vet volunteered care. Donations arrived. The local paper ran a story, The Shepherd Sanctuary. But the real challenge came when the county said the dogs had to be surrendered for liability reasons. Emily fought. She wrote letters, called every official she could, even started a petition. These dogs saved lives. They deserve peace. Not a cage. With the help of the community and the viral attention of a local news anchor who fell in love with Scout, Emily won. She was granted a special license to keep all 14 as a recognized sanctuary. A year passed. Emily, once broken and lost, became the founder of a thriving rescue center. She now trained and rehabilitated retired working dogs, pairing them with veterans and trauma survivors. Each of Walter's dogs had a special place in her life and in the healing journeys of others. When Titan passed peacefully in his sleep, she buried him under the old oak tree, with his service badge and a photo. As she knelt at his grave, Max rested his head on her shoulder. And for the first time in a long time, Emily smiled. Because sometimes, life surrounds you with pain. But sometimes, it surrounds you with purpose. And sometimes, it just takes 14 old German shepherds to remind you that you're not alone. That even when the world forgets, loyalty and love never fade. She didn't save them. They saved her.